Well, hey, thank you for everybody being here today. We have our city manager, Mark Bozigian, and then, of course, Bob Greene over here, and the rest of our staff, and our new photographer, Jason Cottle, over there with his camera. Yeah, he's our new press secretary. This is the 20th anniversary of a transformational community event that celebrates some of our nation's bravest. And just imagine this type of job where, I mean, it's more of a passion than a job, and that you get to see the beauty of the earth from the edge of space. And that's precisely what all of these award recipients, honorees, have done, including our keynote speaker. We're here to recognize a new group of extraordinary test pilots. We'll take a closer look at their drives and the individuals and those like them to take such great risks while pushing the boundaries of human capability. It's my great pleasure to introduce these 5 great, brave test pilots who have been selected for our 20th anniversary, and this is 100 now, correct? On September 19th, we'll be joined by the ranks of aerospace heroes previously honored here in Lancaster, and bringing the total number to 100. This year's Aerospace Walk of Honorees are Lieutenant Colonel Harry Adonian, John A. Fergione, Brigadier General James A. McDivitt, Jack F. Woodman, and Gene L. Skip Ziegler. The Aerospace Walk of Honor celebrates test pilots who have been associated with Edwards Air Force Base, whose aviation careers are marked by significant and obvious achievements beyond one's specified accomplishments. The first one, Lieutenant Colonel Harry Adonian, has logged more than 26,000 flight hours in 200 different types of aircraft. He is perhaps best known for his time spent as the chief project pilot on the U-2. John Fergione piloted the F-16 in a career spanning more than 26 years. Brigadier General James McDivitt, commander of Gemini 4. When I was a kid, I used to have a little model of the Gemini, you had that in the Mercury. That's not in the script. The first spacewalk mission, and Apollo 9, where the lunar module was tested for the first time in Earth's orbit. Jack Woodman made the first flight of the NF-104A and was later named chief test pilot of Lockheed's L-1011 TriStar. Gene Skip Ziegler, who piloted the X-5, the first aircraft capable of sweeping its wings in flight. Now, for the rest of the announcements, I would like to introduce our city manager, Mark Bozigian.
So we have 5 scholarships that will be awarded in the name of the honorees, and they will be given to local Antelope Valley College students who are pursuing degrees in math, science, and engineering. These scholarships are funded by Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and Northrop Grumman. And I think this is one of probably the highlights for me of the program. When you hear the accomplishments of these kids and what they want to do, it's truly amazing. This year, we are truly honored to have a special scholarship award that will be presented this year in honor of Lieutenant Colonel Dave P. Cooley. Mr. Cooley, Lieutenant Cooley, made the ultimate sacrifice in advancing our nation's freedom. He gave his life this year as a test pilot. I know that he was a good friend of our vice mayors, and we are truly honored to offer in his memory a scholarship, and it will be given to the winner of an essay contest that was held at our local high schools, and the subject is recognizing the sacrifices that people make to advance innovation. On September 19th, the date of this year's event, there are several events for our residents to enjoy. The first for the 20th Annual Aerospace Walk of Honor is 10:30 a.m. at Boeing Plaza, which is the corner of Sierra Highway and Lancaster Boulevard. That's where the honorees' plaques will be unveiled. And the general public has a chance to meet the honorees, talk to them about their achievements, get autographs, etc. At 3 o'clock, patrons will be able to join us at the Lancaster Performing Arts Center, this fine facility, for a formal award and scholarship presentation. This is the 20th annual celebration, and we're going to have a surprise. There'll be a surprise addition to the Judy Garland Pavilion behind me, just outside LPAC, so you have to come and see what that will be. You'll have to show up on the 19th. Our keynote speaker this year is Captain Gene Cernan. He has the distinct honor of being the last person on the world to walk on the moon more than 37 years ago. He's going to speak about the importance of sparking young people's interest in science, math, and technology, which obviously is a great tie-in with the scholarships that we offer. You truly do not want to miss hearing Gene Cernan. The thing that's exciting to the community, one thing is that the plaque unveiling and the awards program are free to the general public. There is a reception afterwards where you can purchase tickets for. You can purchase tickets at the LPAC box office through September 4th. That day, there will be probably 10,000 people in the Antelope Valley that buy movie tickets. Instead of going to a movie that day, you ought to consider coming here and hearing from the last man to walk on the moon, and it's free. So it's probably an opportunity to do something you'll remember as opposed to see a movie you'll forget the next day. With that, I'd like to introduce Bob Greene.
As you can imagine, this takes a lot of effort to put this event together each year. And I think it's important to certainly recognize sponsors, and I also want to talk about a few of the staff that are involved too. But specifically, our sponsors, the Boeing Company, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, JT3, Southern California Edison, and Willow Springs Raceway. This is a very difficult program to put together. As you can imagine, a lot of moving parts, trying to coordinate travel arrangements and everything else. So I also want to talk a little bit about the staff, and specifically 3 staff that have really been instrumental this year with the event. And that would be Rhonda Perez, Patty Garibay, and Jana Smith, who have all done extra effort this year to try and make this program special. We have some very unique things that we're going to offer this year that we have not done in the past, and I'll leave those as we get closer to the event to announce them. But this is a really unique program. We're very proud of it. The 20th year, 100 pilots. Some of the things we found out as we've talked as staff to previous award winners, when you find out what they feel about this program, and we'll be sharing a lot of that during the event itself. There'll be some video highlights. You'll get an opportunity to listen and hear words that they'll speak about what this meant to them. And specifically when you find out that they look at their name among really the stars of aerospace, the General Yeagers and Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon, and Gene Cernan, the last man on the moon, and so many others. And we found out these little intricate stories where things that we didn't know, that wives and families of pilots that went to the moon listened from NASA. They could listen to what's going on, and they could hear things of what was going on during flight and hear the risks that were taking place, never knowing if their spouse would ever return to Earth. You also know the same thing happens with people that are testing technology. We talked about Lieutenant Colonel Cooley and what happened in his flight. That happened to so many brave pilots, and here we get a chance to recognize and honor them. It's very special. These are special people. Unlike most of us that walk on this earth, these are people that put their life in the hands of a number of others, hoping that the technology would hold up and they would do well. And this is a great opportunity to meet these people and to see them. And one other final note, when you look at this, we really want to encourage younger people, people of a generation that never saw live people walking on the moon or landing after orbiting the moon and finally landing on that surface. These gentlemen are getting up in age, and it will not be that much longer before no one is alive who actually walked on the moon or has been there. And so it'll be a number of years before any of the countries go back to that. China, Russia, the United States have all acknowledged that they want to go back to the moon in the year 2020. But at some time, you know, that they're looking at this and economic conditions, it's going to be tough to do that. And so this is an opportunity to meet history, to see Captain Cernan. We were looking at video tape of a YouTube interview of him where he talked about actually discovering orange soil on the moon. I never was aware of that, but it's unique. It's interesting what they found in all of their discoveries. But knowing the risks, where we talked to one of the wives of a pilot that orbited the moon, and they said there was a 50-50 chance that her husband would actually make it back to Earth. They weren't sure that their calculations were correct on this. So these are brave people indeed, and it's a chance to meet somebody very special. Really want to encourage people to attend, and we look forward to seeing you. At this point, we'll be happy to respond to any questions from the press if you have any, and otherwise that would conclude our remarks today.